Good morning. So, for the second time this year, my normally dry creek bed has run. I hope no one else had damage because I really didn't, and I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for all this water. It's incredible. So just off the roof of this shed, which is 100 square feet, I collected over 300 gallons of water. A lot of it overflowed and ran down the driveway, but that means I got at least 5 inches of rain. My neighbor says he thinks we have 6. And this pond filled up here, and I'm amazed that this terrace held. I stabilized the terrace using clay and pine needles, and then I put art on it, and it held up really well. And you can see where there's no pine needles, how that does not look as good. But I'm truly amazed that with 6 inches of rain, you can even still see the art and how it didn't even erode, which is amazing because there's a huge hill behind this. And up on the hill, there's some areas. I had a pond, well, it was a ditch dug in here that turned into a pond. It was completely filled last night, but it has sunk into the ground. And behind that, this is a bench that I dug into the hill, and I covered it with pine needles and clay to stabilize it. And even though the pine needles are exposed, it looks great. It didn't erode at all, which is exciting because there's a big hill. This is looking down on my place. I have so many ditches up there to keep the water from coming down. Here you can see that the stuff I didn't cover, the cob, is still holding up, which is so exciting. And up on the hill behind me, here's the pond that I started digging, but I didn't finish it. But this was filled up all the way to the top. And as you can see, it overflowed and then it went down into the ditches I had dug beneath it to protect my home. And it worked. And this is an earth oven that after 6 inches of rain still has its plaster. It's not looking super great, but it's better. This is across the street from me. Deep, deep gullies dug by the rainwater runoff. So I went for a walk down the road to go to my friends, and I made some friends along the way. There was lots of these guys out on the road this morning, and I had to cross a second creek. The first creek I had to cross was at my place. This is the second one I had to cross to get to my friend's place. I wanted to check on her road that I dug the drainage ditches to see how it did. So I went for a little barefoot walk. This is the third creek I had to cross, and look, it had washed over the road last night. That's how high it was flowing. So the waters are actually really low today compared to how they were last night, but it blew out the asphalt. And it's amazing how much damage was done to the roads. As you can see, as I'm walking to my friends, it's just covered in silt and rocks and sand and huge ditches dug. But fortunately, a neighbor was out there when I was coming back, and he was cleaning it all up with his tractor. This is at my friend's house, and now I'm walking down the hill of her driveway, checking out to see how these drainage ditches did. And as you can see, it worked because the water went off to the side of the road, and just beneath where the ditch was, I had previously filled in the drainage ditches, the ditches that were there, and none of those were affected. But as we keep walking, as you start to see the ditches appear, those were ditches that were already there that we did not fill in, and they did get a little deeper. And then we're coming up to the second drainage ditch that I dug. And this ditch also worked to divert the water because this water gets a lot of momentum when it's coming down the hill, and that's when it starts just digging stuff up. As you can see, it blew out a little bit right here, but overall it took that water off and down the hill, and it did cut out the side of the road some, but the rest of it is looking dry. It's definitely drivable. I mean, it's looking good. It didn't get much worse. As you can see, though, as it picks up momentum down the hill, it starts digging deeper out. These are huge ditches at the bottom of her driveway that we filled with rocks the other day and covered with sand, and the sand washed off, but the rocks are still there, so she can still drive on this. Very excited that it worked.